Hi, I'm Kim Eddleston with Entrepreneur and Innovation Exchange. And today I'm here with Rob Sher, who is CEO of Mastering Midsized, a company that focuses on what drives growth for mid-sized companies and helps them achieve their goals. He's also author of Mastering Midsized Growth, a fantastic book that features much of his advice on achieving and maintaining growth. Thank you for being with me.
Oh, you're welcome, Kim. Delighted to be here.
So first, how do you define a mid-sized company?
So, rough figures, 10 million in revenues up to $1 billion. Now that's a huge range, I know. But it's also headcount, 50 people to a couple of thousand people. It's kind of the teenage years of business, right? When you get beyond one smart person telling other folks what to do to where you need team leadership and you've got bigger opportunities and, there's more arms and legs to the business and it's moving up the ladder.
So in your work with many mid-sized companies, what are some of the common factors that you see help them grow and continue to succeed?
So it's not a leader, it's a team of leaders working together. And if a company really in their hearts and in their heads are working as a team, leaders shoulder to shoulder pulling it forward, they really grow. I think another thing that really changes at midsize, Kim, is that leaders in small business lead from the present. In midsize, leaders lead from the future. They're saying in a year or two or three, we're going to need to be here. And what do we have to do now so that we can get there? And they've got enough leaders around them leading as a team. So they're not overwhelmed with today. They have time to look into the future, prepare the organization. So when the future arrives, it's like, we're ready. And that's how they keep growing year after year. And I guess the third thing kind of connects those is that you can't say, oh, someday we're going to be a giant company. Yay. Let's all work hard today. You have to articulate the steps like, okay, so if that someday is 5 years from now, where do we need to be in 4 and 3 and 2 and 1? And then who is doing what by when? They articulate those steps really, really well. And that articulation is the third thing I'd really call out that makes some mid-sized companies really grow and keep growing, and those that don't have it tend to lag a little.
So why do some firms become stagnant over time while others, like you described, continue to thrive and really lead in such an incredible way that they drive growth?
Fair question. So some of it I covered a little bit already, but what are some of the speed bumps that we see people hit if they don't have that? So one is like time slip sliding away. Example today is hiring. People are struggling with hiring. They're not looking into the future and beefing up their recruiting process and departments to match the challenge, which is huge today. And so then that VP of whatever gets hired 9 months later. Oh, yay, we got him. But in those 9 months, all kinds of projects didn't get accomplished. Another one that we see often is strategy tinkering at the top. So we had a client years ago. He was amazing, old serial entrepreneur, and he got his business up to probably a valuation of 65 or 70 million, but just couldn't do the sometimes boring work of managing and just stay on track, more, deeper. Another one is what we call reckless attempts at growth. So when you're a little company and you want to grow, you're $1 million business, you want to grow 10%, it's $100,000. You can just try stuff. But if you're a $100 million company and you want to grow 10%, that's a $10 million step. You could put $1 million or $2 million of investment into that. You could put a year of development into that. And if you don't de-risk it the way a mid-sized company should, then you'll blow that money more often than not. And you can't afford, mid-sized companies have more money, but not that much. And then two others, one's operational meltdown. So mid-sized companies who don't look ahead into the future, understand real operational demands, plan those out. We're talking a year or two in many cases, will find themselves with so much business, unable to deliver it, and will destroy their reputation trying. Okay. And so managing that requires planning. And then one that's not in any of the books that I'm just seeing, I've got a client, spoke to his wife the other day, and she said, normally husband's so energetic, grow, go, but he's kind of getting a little burned out. And they have been growing so fast. and he is too nice of a CEO and doesn't upgrade his leadership team when needed or bring others in or hold them accountable. And he'll like do the extra mile. So every problem goes to him, every challenge. And, they've got largely the same team they had when they were a third the size. And so she's sensing it's like he even wants to just take a day off and say to heck with it. And when you're worn out from keeping up, you're not going to grow your business. You're not looking at the next opportunity. You're just like getting the work done, taking a break, watching the movies.
It also suggests from an entrepreneurship perspective, there are certain entrepreneurs who are better suited for this type of growth and to maintain it and to become managers. Are there types of, when you're looking at entrepreneurs, are there types that you can kind of pick who will be able to keep their mid-sized company successful and grow versus others that they become their own worst enemy?
I believe any person, if they choose, can adjust their leadership style to the style that they need to, but it requires some self-sacrifice and some discipline to force yourself to do that if you want to run a $50, $100, $200, $500 million business. And it is a lot about working through other people and loving developing people. And we've got a client in real estate who's amazing this way. He has a nose for opportunity in real estate, and he's built a 600-person magnificent business. And you know what? He's affable. He keeps super smart people together. And his business outgrew his team a little bit. We helped them make a couple of changes, and that team is super strong. And the joke about him is, he comes in and reads the paper, because he is not the guy who runs that business every day. He's got people who do that, and he keeps those people really happy and richly rewarded. And it's awesome.
So when you're working with a business experiencing growing pains, what do you recommend for growing pains?
Growing pains normally mean you've outgrown your infrastructure, right? There's a set of processes and team members and tools and computers that allow that business to run pretty well. And a big part of the things you think about is planning and the building of systems. So if I've got 8 smart leaders, are they really clear on who owns what? And have we thought it through enough? And I think the third thing is managing to a focused plan. Mid-sized companies don't have the time and the resources for all the good ideas. They only have the time and resources for the very, very best.
And you've given so much advice, but last one, really about leadership. What advice do you have for leaders of mid-sized companies right now?
You just can't fix, grow, do all the things if you don't have enough leadership bandwidth to get it done. And so it's not just hiring, but it's also about development. You've got smart people who are probably hungry, they have capability, they're probably tired right now because they're working so hard and there's a shortage of them. But that's the exact wrong time to not shorten their learning curve, speed that development up. Because if a year from now you have 25% more leadership bandwidth, you will be able to grow faster. But man, companies who tolerate not having an A leadership team and enough of them are really hurting badly right now.
So I have to ask a follow-up.
Sure.
Those leaders who are able to do that, attract these people, what is your advice for keeping them loyal to the firm and getting them motivated? Because it is really tough right now. You're right.
I think every manager at any level in any organization, one of their sacred duties is to be the advocate for everyone on their team. And when people feel like they have a manager who's in the foxhole with them and is helping them, they will stay through thick and thin. And some people may need less work because they just had triplets and they're overwhelmed with life. Hey, can you help them? Can you pull some load off of them? And other people want to go up and be the CEO as fast as they possibly can. Great. How can we challenge them? It's that kind of thinking. And you can't solve every problem every time. There will be times when people get a bit crushed. But if you as the leader are getting a bit crushed with them and you empathize with them and they can see you and feel you trying to figure out how do we make it better for next week, they will stay through thick and thin.
Thank you so much, Rob Sher, for being with us today.
Oh, my pleasure, Kimberly. Thank you so much.